Hi, everyone. This screencast was created to help you navigate our course shell this summer. So, with that in mind, it's probably appropriate to start by saying there are two ways to navigate the course shell. First, on the home page, when you arrive here, you will see that the modules are represented on the home page by file drawers for you to open. When you click on one of those file drawers, like Getting Started, it will navigate you to that page with the information you need to complete that module. The second way that you can navigate the course shell is by a drop-down menu up here. And because of our masthead, depending on what device you're accessing this on, that homepage might look a little obscured. But when you click on it directly, it will take you right back to the home page with the file drawers, or a drop-down menu will pop up as it has here, and you can click on any of the weeks or pages that you are ready to explore. Please note that as you begin exploring our course shell. And if you found this screencast, you've probably already done this. We hope you'll start rather than with week one, but with the Getting Started module, which I'm going to do here. On this page, you'll find our contact information along with some videos we recorded to welcome you to the course, share a little bit about ourselves, and also about why we wanted to teach this class. But at the bottom of this page is really the information that you're going to need to get started as you begin this journey together. This footer, which appears in this sort of pale green color, will also appear on every single page of our course, because the information down here is important. I will allow you to explore this on your own, but I want to flag for you that in this footer, you will find our course calendar, which will likely be useful to you throughout the 18 weeks that we're together, along with your portfolio requirements, which you should take some time to review as you get started, so that as we explore each weekly module, you'll be able to keep that in mind. Speaking of the modules, let's go ahead and use our home button up here at the top. You can see that once you've scrolled down and the masthead disappears, the home button becomes a little more obvious. So let's go ahead and navigate to the week one module. This will give you a good idea of how our modules are generally set up. All of your work week modules, meaning the weeks that you explore new content, will be set up this way. We start with some objectives for the week so that you understand our thinking about what we want you to learn. Then we move on to an agenda and checklist, which is where we provide you with the items you're going to explore, the resources you're going to dig into, and then the tasks that you will complete each week. So under the Explore and Consume tab, which you can just open by clicking the drop down here, you will find what we want you to explore and look at this week. For week one, the only thing we're going to ask you to explore is the course shell, and to make sure that you have a copy of the book. Starting in week two, you will begin your reading in that book along with some additional support readings. The second section of the agenda and checklist we've titled Think and Do. These are activities that we want you to participate in each week in order to help solidify and just give you some guided practice around the thinking that you're doing as you explore the content. For this week, because it's week one and your content is the course shell, then you're going to complete a scavenger hunt that will give you the reward at the end of the scavenger hunt is your login for Flipgrid, which we will use extensively throughout the class. Additionally, in this section, we're asking you to complete your pre-assessment for the course. You'll note that the pre-assessment is a required element of your learning results portfolio. So that will knock off one of your requirements already. Then the third section in your agenda and checklist will always be reflect and synthesize. We strongly believe that reflection is an incredibly important part of the learning process. So this is where we will ask you to participate in an activity to help you reflect on your learning. This week, it's a Flipgrid. Other weeks, the activity looks different. But again, you'll get that Flipgrid code by completing the scavenger hunt in part 2. And then the last section, always in your agenda and checklist, is to be thinking about your learning results portfolio. Sometimes we will suggest specific tasks for you to be working on for that week to keep you on track so that you're not saving your portfolio until the very end. But other times we'll just give you some general guidance about the portfolio in general. This is a self-paced course, so it will be up to you to complete the portfolio by the end, although you will find that in the portfolio requirements, which again, look, there's that footer that I mentioned is located on every page, those portfolio requirements do contain some due dates, and I will show you those just very quickly while I'm clicking here. So you can see that when you click over to the portfolio requirements, there are some detailed instructions both about how to sort of begin the portfolio process and then about the content. Each content section, again, there are some target due dates, which are not written in stone. They're not hard deadlines, but they will help to keep you on track so you're not trying to complete this at the very end. And then there's also some notes about captions, which if you've completed an LRP before, you know are an incredibly important part of it. Finally, down here towards the end of the portfolio requirements page, there's a message of portfolio pauses. These are weeks where we will not be providing you with any additional content, but rather where we will give you some time to think about the content we've already explored and begin working on some of those LRP requirements. If you look at our course calendar, which again, look, is linked at that footer at the bottom, then you will see that we roughly have a portfolio pause scheduled about every 4 weeks, which is also, not coincidentally, about how often we're going to post modules. If you noticed when I clicked on the navigation button, the drop-down menu over here to the right, currently there are only 4 weeks modules posted. This is intentional. We have done this so that, number one, we're not overwhelming you with content, but also so that as you work through modules 1, 2, and 3, we can adjust modules 5, 6, and 7 to make sure that they include anything that might address your questions that you've had or to help you explore some ideas that you've shared, etc. We want the course to be dynamic. Even though we have all 18 weeks planned, we want it to be responsive to your needs. And so therefore, we are going to stagger the release of modules. With that being said, let's go ahead and navigate over to week 4 so that we can look at what a portfolio pause week looks like. During that week, the page looks just a little bit different. This is, again, a week where you'll be looking at your portfolio, thinking about the previous 3 modules and what you've learned and how you're going to apply that to your portfolio. In these sections, we will start with just some admin and organization, things that we want to make sure that you've done to make your portfolio accessible, etc. And those are just basic general reminders, and they'll be different most of the portfolio weeks. And then down at the bottom, content and captions, this is where we will give you some suggested tasks and also point you back to resources to help you with those specific elements of the portfolio. You are more than welcome to work on your portfolio in a different route than we have worked out for you. You may choose to start with a different element than what we're suggesting. Our number one suggestion is that you don't wait until the end to try to complete the portfolio, as it does have a dense list of requirements, but the way that you tackle those is up to you. These are just our way of helping. One thing I want to point out also about the portfolio pause weeks is that those are the weeks that we're going to be holding office hours, meaning that those will be weeks that when Darren and I will be available via Zoom to chat with you, to answer your questions or to just talk about the content. Our schedule for the office hours will be is in the course calendar. So when we go back to that page, which we've already visited, you can see the portfolio pause weeks again there, but right below that, we have put the dates and times, or at least the times and days of the week that we'll be holding office hours. So on any given portfolio pause week, say the week of 9/13 through 9/19, we'll be planning to have office hours on that Monday from 3:30 to 4 Hawaii Standard Time. However, let me just also point this out. If those times don't work for you and you have questions, you can always, of course, reach out to us using the contact information that was on the Getting Started page there. And we will be more than happy, one of or both of us will be more than happy to schedule another time to meet via Zoom if that works better for you. We are literally here to help you. That is literally our jobs. We have created the course, but we very much want to make sure that you are getting what you need from us in terms of support. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We want you to feel supported in this work because we think this work is so incredibly important. Finally, the last thing I will mention, which maybe should have been the first thing as I go back to the homepage, is that we'll be using this page for all aspects of this course. We will very rarely be checking Blackboard, and we'll only use it to send messages that the entire course needs rather than sending emails. So that will allow us, if we send a message via the Blackboard course shell, you should get the email from that. But other than that, we will not be using Blackboard. So I hope that one of the first things you'll do is bookmark this site. And then just remember that this is where you need to go to work on our class together. I hope you found this screencast helpful, and we are looking forward to working with you over the next 18 weeks. Mahalo, everyone.